Hi, this is David Friedlander with Tintri, and today I wanted to show you how simple performance troubleshooting is with our Tintri VMstore appliance. Tintri VMstore is a flash-based network storage device purpose-built for virtualization. The Tintri OS is fully VM aware, meaning all operations are at the VM level. Let's talk about why that's important when you're troubleshooting performance issues. Traditional storage systems are carved up into LUNs or volumes, but these don't map cleanly to VMs. When a user reports performance problems in a virtualized environment, it's very difficult to identify and isolate the problem. If you're using traditional shared storage and carving out LUNs or volumes for your virtual environment, you have a complex infrastructure that looks something like this. Troubleshooting can take a team of experts hours or even days to narrow in on the real cause of the problem. We believe there should be a better way. We shouldn't resign ourselves to late nights and weekends hunting for obscure performance bottlenecks. So what is VM-aware storage, and what does it do that traditional SAN and NAS solutions don't? With Tintri's VM-aware storage, all operations are at the vDisk and VM level. Rather than creating aggregates, LUNs, volumes, and other storage objects and then loading VMs onto them, a VM-aware storage system monitors and directly manages the VMs and vDisks. Let's look at what that means when you do need to troubleshoot a problem. Let's say you get a report that some VDI sessions are slow. You'd start with the overall VMstore dashboard, where you can quickly see the performance of the overall box. At the top, you can see total IOPS, throughput, latency, and the flash hit ratio, the percentage of I/O served by flash. Everything looks okay there, as does the performance reserves bar. There's plenty of green telling us we have performance headroom to spare. We're running at about 20,000 IOPS with significant throughput and getting all of our I/O from flash. With a glance at the right side of the screen, we can see which VMs have suddenly started using more performance or more capacity. Nothing looks out of the ordinary here, so let's look at historical performance on the data store to check for any issues. We can click down a level and immediately get a view of the data store's performance over time by latency, IOPS, or other metrics. We can even compare two metrics to look for possible correlated behaviors. We see that there's a slight IOPS spike periodically. Could that have caused the problem? By clicking on any point, we get a list of the top contributing VMs at that time. We can quickly see the most active VMs at any specific point in time by IOPS or any other stats. The IOPS spike didn't cause a latency spike on the data store, so we already know the problem is somewhere else. There may be an issue with a particular VM, so we'll click through to the VM view. This view shows us all of the VMs that are on the system and lists the I/O, throughput, latency, and other relevant metrics about them. In this case, we suspect there's a latency issue, so we sort by latency, and there it is. If we bring up the latency graph, we can instantly see where the latency is. It's at the host. We collect latency information for every VM and vDisk for the host, network, flash storage system, and SATA disks. Those latter two components are in the Tintri appliance, of course. And then present a consolidated view of end-to-end latency. So now we know where to look. Here we see the percent swap weight spikes periodically, which could cause some problems. So we might want to talk with the admin about adding some memory to that VM. With Tintri VMstore, the long hours of troubleshooting are over. You get visibility at the VM and vDisk level from the host down through the storage layer, and you can quickly identify, isolate, and address performance problems with VMs. That's what being VM aware really means.